Zurück in die 80er und 90er. Dahin geht's für Melissa Etheridge auf ihrem neuen Album. Das heißt One Way Out. Hey, ich bin Marleen Vogel und ich habe mich schon Ende Juli mit Melissa genau darüber unterhalten. Auf dem Album ist auch diese Nummer hier. As Cool As You Try.
You're just as cool as you try. You're just as cool as you try. You either live or you die.
Wie sie diese Reise in die Vergangenheit erlebt hat, warum die Songs genau jetzt rauskommen und ob sie schon mal dran gedacht hat, die Musik an den Nagel zu hängen, das hört ihr jetzt.
Hi Melissa, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm fine as well, thank you. Thank you for taking the time. Where are you at right now?
I am in Los Angeles in my home, in my office. It's a mess.
That's okay. We're not going to look.
Good. This is radio.
We're going to talk about your album, One Way Out. This is going to be released in September. And those tracks have come a far way to be finally released. Can you let us in on literally the history that the songs carry?
Well, I rediscovered these songs a few years ago and realized that I had set aside songs I had written in the late 80s and the early 90s because of more of insecurity, of not wanting to be too gay or not wanting to be too feminist, and some of these it was a funny time back in the late 80s and early 90s, and these songs that's the only reason, because I loved these songs, and rediscovering them and going, oh, I can sing this now, I can kill this now, and really excited about it, because I'm not writing songs about frustration and pain. I don't have that in my life anymore. So it was nice to be able to sort of reach back, and because I know that people enjoy that part of me, sort of that 80s, 90s rock part of me. And it was fun to reach back and find quality songs that I could bring to people.
Good for you that you're not feeling all those feelings anymore that you've written about back then. But what was it like for you to go through all these song ideas and outlines of your younger self? Like, it must be like a crazy path down memory lane, right?
Absolutely. But I tell you, it's so good not to be in those emotions anymore. It's so good. Like For the Last Time is it's just sexual frustration, right? It's just frustration. It's almost desperation. And I'm so happy not to be there. So it's nice to be able to look at it and sort of pull out and go, yeah, I was there once, but I'm not there anymore. So I can, just the same way I do Bring Me Some Water, or like the way I do when I get on stage. I'm not there anymore, but man, I can sing that song.
You can get back into it. So like, what was your vision putting this record together? Why was it the right time to release those tracks now?
Well, now is the perfect time, because I had already recorded these songs, and they were in the vault. And BMG said, hey, we want to, release something from you. And I said, well, I happen to have these that I've been holding on to for a couple of years. And man, it was just perfect. It was perfect time. It's fun to come back on the road with these rock and roll songs. It's fun to kind of come back with a bang.
Oh yeah, there's some bangers on there for sure. The one I wanted to talk to you about now is a rather, not so much a banger, but that spoke to me, like Save Yourself. It sounds like this hymn on self-responsibility to me. Can you elaborate a bit on the song?
Yeah, it was having this sort of emotion in, this thought in the early 90s was a little, it was one of the reasons I didn't put on any album, was it was kind of it was very feminist in nature, and I'm not looking for no soldier, I'm not looking for a prince, I'm some little girl wanted to take on the world, and I haven't looked back since, and that sort of empowerment that really finally broke open a couple years ago. And it's nice to go, okay, well, here's something that I created 30 years ago, but I'm excited now to let it come to light and hopefully inspire others.
Do you feel like you were a bit ahead of time, like a bit ahead of society?
I've always felt like I've been ahead of the time and ahead of society. I'm always like 10 years ahead of everything.
I'm no angel myself is another one on the record. And I was wondering, do you hold any character traits where you're like, okay, that's not so angelic, really?
Yeah. Wow. Like I've said, I've played some cards that I'd just as soon forget. You know, you got to learn, you grow and you do things and man, you make mistakes, but you learn from them. And that's the whole thing. You don't want to do everything perfect. That's a boring life. You want to try things, learn that, you know, you can do it easier and there's an easier way to do it. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that I have that I'm not that I wasn't an angel about. I'm a bit more angelic these days than I was back then.
So growing more to be more of an angel these days, yes. Maybe. There are 2 live songs on the album as well. You Have No Idea and Life Goes On. Like, what made you decide that they needed to be part of One Way Out?
Well, they were really fun at the time. Those I was thinking about putting on the Lucky album, the beginning of 2000. And they were, again, one, Life Goes On, is looking back to the 80s. And it's in 2002, looking back. And now it's going to be 2022, looking back. So it's fun. Both of those are big audience songs. And probably why I didn't put them on the album is they're just so much fun to do live. I mean, those 2 performers, you hear the audience is just way into it and they love the words. So I thought that's a perfect way to present them is live so that people know when they hear it live that they're going to, you know, enjoy it like the live audience did.
They better do.
They're big sing-alongs.
Did the longing for live music strengthen that desire that maybe you had during the last year and a half?
Oh my God! But not being able to, I'm a little ashamed at how much I miss applause. You know, you know, you get used to thousands of people applauding for you. So I really miss it. I think that exchange of energy of performing and having people, you know, feel your songs and move with it. I do miss that very much. I'm looking forward to it. I've got 1 more week and I'm be out on the road.
That sounds exciting. And you'll be coming to Germany as well. I saw next year you're scheduled to be back here. How have you perceived the German crowd in the past?
Oh, I love German audiences. Some of my favorite. You guys love rock and roll, which and you consistently love rock and roll. You still love rock and roll. You are loyal and you love the songs. I could clap my hands once. You're all with me from then on out. I could sing one thing. You'll sing it right back to me. You'll sing the whole song to me. You love that. You jump up and down at the same time. You're just, it's so much fun. I always tell anybody who hasn't been over there with me, I said, this is just a great experience.
Go listen to Melissa, everyone.
Please.
I thought since we're digging in the past a bit with this album, I was wondering, you've got 6 decades of Melissa to look back on. You got more than half of your life spent with music, won countless awards. Was there ever a time in your life where you're like, okay, like I can't go on with music?
No. That's the thing is I had such big dreams from, you know, age 10, you know, on that as I look back now, 50 years on that, the fun part was just doing it, was the journey. And I've realized now, wow, that's it. It's not about getting somewhere or getting something or achieving this one thing. I mean, the minute I won a Grammy, like the next week, I was like, okay, what are we doing now? You know, you don't rest on that. The fun, the joy, the juice is the doing of it, and you know, getting out on the road, the writing, all of it. So that's there's never been a time I was like, I'm not going to do this, because it's always been the journey.
And after all this time in music business, like, how do you keep challenging yourself?
Well, with this music industry, it's not hard to challenge yourself. It's tough. It's tough to stay current. It's tough to stay relevant, and I came to the realization about 15 years ago that if I write songs that I love, if I make music that I love, then my fans will love it. I can't make songs for what I think people want or what radio wants. That's disaster. You have to stay true to myself. And that's what the fans hear and feel. And that's why I think this album will connect so much, because it's, especially if you love the first 4 albums or something, this album fits right into that.
Because that's just being authentic, right? Being true to yourself. And that's usually the key to success.
It's crazy enough. That's it.
Last year, you've established the Etheridge Foundation. And you're very committed to help others. What's your motivation with it?
Well, I lost my son last year to opioid addiction, and and saw his path and his journey with just self-worth and then pain. And I said there's got to be something else. This addictive, drugs that people use to be out of pain. There's got to be another path. And so we're dedicated to looking for options. We are, mostly looking at plant medicine. Your cannabis is psilocybin, these things that are not addictive, but can relieve, can help the brain with pain. So, it's just, just don't want his life to have been, I wanted to help others.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about your son, but I think it's so powerful that you're turning your personal tragedy into something that can be of help for so many others.
Yeah, it helps me. So thank you.
That's a good start. Melissa, thank you so much for your time. Fingers crossed for everything for your tour. Have fun, enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Take care and have a great day.
All right, thank you.